When it comes to the biggest, the baddest, most expensive Lexus SUV you can buy, it doesn't get better than this. Welcome, my friends. This is the all-new 2025 Lexus LX700H. What that means is this is the hybrid one. There is the LX600, which is a standard 3.4 liter V6. This has a 3.4 liter V6 twin turbo, made it to a hybrid system that makes 457 horsepower and a whopping 583 pounds-feet of torque. Made it to a 10-speed automatic. Of course, this has a full-time four-wheel drive system. I'm going to talk about it, go over all the incredible luxury features and its off-road capabilities. And before I continue, I want to give a big thank you to Lexus for allowing me to have this vehicle in my home test area for me to review for you guys. Thank you, Lexus, for allowing me to have this vehicle, and thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. That's coming up next. All right, before we go in the interior, I just want to show you guys what this thing looks like in its normal height. Right now it's in high 2. So I'm going to go down to high 1. And it actually does it pretty quick. There's high 1, and you can see it going down. That's normal high 1. And then this is normal height now. It's going down. And then it goes even lower than this. If you guys want to, for easy entry, it kind of goes lower to the lowest possible form. Pretty cool. And I'll show you guys what it looks like going up. So that's going back to normal mode. You guys can see it. Let me go back to high 1. There's high 1. And it's pretty cool because you feel it going up and down. So yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like when you're going up and down. And then last but not least, this is how it looks like when I had it in high 2, which is the highest I can go. Only for off-road purposes. You can't drive in high 2 too long. All right, let's jump inside and take a look at all the luxury features of this Lexus LX700H. Stay tuned for that. Okay, let's step inside this 2025 Lexus LX700. When the car is off, you could just put your hand on the door handle and the car will unlock. You could lock it right there on all 4 corners. It's yelling at me because, of course, the car is on. And let's see what $118,000 gets you. That's right. This car is $118,000 SUV. So this is absolutely fully loaded. There's no options. And what you get is the best, very good materials. You get soft padded leather, semi-aniline leather everywhere. This is all soft. You get open pore wood right here. Even though it doesn't look like it, but it is. Hard to pick up on camera, but let me see if I can, there it goes. And it's very, very nice, very beautiful. You got aluminum door handle, 3 precision memory for the mirrors, the seat, and the steering wheel. Of course, automatic up and down all 4 windows. There's a nice little Mark Levinson sound system speaker. Super nice. Which this car has the optional 25 speaker sound system. The seats are very comfortable. Semi-aniline leather, like I said, the highest grade leather. And you got an extending armrest right here. Thigh extension. And 4-way lumbar support. These 2 front seats are heated, ventilated, and cooled. Heated and ventilated and massaging on the front two rows. And the rear ones are also heated and cooled. And let's step in here, which is a very tall step in height because it is a massive SUV. And let me turn off this light. And in front of us, you have a full screen, a digital instrument cluster, which is fully customizable. So right now the vehicle is running, but it's off because it is a hybrid. And there's basically, when you step up to a level like this of car, expect nothing but the best. Of course, the steering wheel is fully power tilt telescopic. Thankfully, it does have physical controls. So you can control on the left hand side, you have your media. So you have volume up and down. You have this controls that center screen. So you can of course cycle through different versions of the screen. It's a little customizable. You got the map, you got different gauges. It shows you different needles, different temperature, different auxiliary gauges. So super useful. You got oil temperature gauge, transmission gauge. Everything pretty much to tackle your off-road adventures. You do have dual aluminum paddle shifters to shift the 10-speed automatic. The steering wheel is heated as well. This side controls your cruise control feature, so you can turn it on and off, set the speed, set the distance, and super useful. Headlights, of course, are automatic. One click to turn on turn signals. Wipers are also automatic, and this vehicle does have a head-up display. And let's see if I can get it. There it is. There it is. There's the head-up display right there. It's using, of course, Lexus's latest infotainment system. This is a 12.3-inch infotainment display that has wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. Very super easy to use. You got media, map, calls, vehicle settings here, and you can configure pretty much everything you want. Super snappy, nothing crazy, nothing complicated to use. When you have it in either CarPlay or Android Auto, it will completely utilize the whole screen. Can't show you guys because I'm using my phone to record. And right below that, and you do have a physical volume knob right here and power button, and that's your engine start stop button right here. That's where you start the car. And right below that, you are getting a additional screen, and as you can see a little bitty truck there. This is all the off-road stuff. It shows you your angle, your yaw, and if you go here, this also doubles as the climate control screen. So you guys can see, you see a little picture of the cabin, and of course you can control your climate control here with physical controls. Super easy, nothing really hard to use. Everything is set to automatic because this vehicle, most Lexus cars have something called this button, Climate Concierge. So what that does is you press that button, it will do everything for you. It would heat or cool the seats depending on the temperature you have it set to, and of course in the summer, obviously we're in winter mode right now. It has everything on. My seat is on, the steering wheel is on. Super useful and unique. And moving down to the center, you have of course physical controls for pretty much everything here. You do have a heated windshield, so that has heating elements in the actual windshield, so the whole thing can be heated, which is nice, especially for those snowy mornings, especially when you remote start the vehicle. Of course, heated mirrors, of course the rear defrost, and right here you have the drive mode selector, downhill assist, or crawl control. Excuse me. Crawl control is basically like a cruise control. When you're going a very steep hill, you press this thing and the car will do it for you. You just have to sit there and then it will start going downhill in a gentle manner without you doing anything, braking and everything. Drive mode selector, of course, you could select the different drive modes, which they are plenty. You have comfort, eco, you have normal, you have sport plus, and then custom. You can customize the entire vehicle, what it does, suspension, steering, pretty much everything. I've been driving in eco mode and normal mode, and MPG is not great. The highest I got was 21, and that was me driving very light on the gas. Obviously you're not buying this vehicle for fuel economy. You're buying this because you want this and you want to treat yourself, and you want a badass Lexus SUV that can climb a mountain and bring you back home safely. And here is also the multi-terrains selector as well. So you have auto, you have dirt. Let me just see if I can. Yep, there you go. Dirt. You have sand, and automatically it starts changing, and I can see the vehicle rising because every mode has its own settings and in terms of traction control. So, and then if you go up, there's mud, and right now it's going to high 2, and then deep snow mode. So pretty much this thing is ready for anything Mother Nature wants to throw at it. You'll be set. I have it set to auto because I'm not doing anything crazy with this thing, and I always keep the height, also keep it in normal mode because less stuff to break, I guess. But this car's not gonna break. This is a very reliable vehicle anyway. And in the center you do have a little cubby right there. Nothing crazy. You know, a little move the and you can't move the shifter, but yeah, you got a little cubby. And then the controls for manually controlling the heated and cooling is right here. You could set it to auto, which they are. Same thing for the passenger side. You do have 2 USB-C ports right there, and you do have a traditional cigarette style outlet right here. Also, if I can close that. And yep, there it goes. Also, this vehicle has 3 locking differentials. What that means is you can lock the front, you can lock the center, and the rear for really extreme off-road conditions. If you're out there in the middle of nowhere and you're stuck and you need to get out, you can lock all 3 of them, and basically it will claw itself out. It will claw itself out, no problem. And that's what that does. So this is the center lock right here, and you got both the rear and the front lockers right here. So pretty much a very, very capable vehicle. You do have your automatic parking brake right here, electronic parking brake, brake hold. This is the parking assist. So when you press this, the car will basically park itself. And as you can see right now, is telling you to put your seatbelt on. And when you do that, you also and then it tells you to hold on the brake, and it will do its thing, and you tell it where to park, and it will park for itself, which is pretty trippy. So it will do the wheel, it will shift back and forth, reverse, neutral, all that stuff, which is pretty cool. In the middle, you have a wireless charging pad, conveniently placed right there. Very nice deep cup holders, and as you can see, part of the ambient lighting, they do light up, and there is right there ambient lighting on the door panels. Super soft. Everything you touch is soft. You do have a decent sized glove box right here, and in the middle we have a cool box, and you guys hear that. So you can put your drinks in here, and it will keep that cool. You press that button right there to turn it on and off. You can open it this way, you can open it that way, and it can be open from the back, which we'll go over in a second. It does have a decent sized sunroof. No panoramic sunroof here, but of course you can one touch open and close sunroof right here, and you can close that no problem. Of course, tilt everything. LED lighting everywhere. It does have the mirror cam, so you could have the car full of people and stuff. Nobody's head's gonna get in the way. No problem, because you could just see everything, and you could adjust the angle. So right now I have the third row seats up, and you guys can see, hello, you can probably see the headrest get in the way. Yeah, that's pretty much it up front. And the seats are very comfortable, like I said. Oh, and it does have, way down here, it does have a integrated brake controller, because it does have the built-in hitch. So you can, of course, brake controller there. You can do all that stuff. There is the button for the, zoom back up here. There is the button for the hatch, for the tailgate, the inverter. And this turns on the wheels, and it does that when you're not moving. So you can activate the camera and it does that little spin thing. You could pause it and you can see the whole car there. Super useful when you're driving. I guess you could, it kind of gives you like a under the car view, so to speak. So super cool. And that is pretty much it up front. I'm 5'8" and I have, let me spin the camera around. I have plenty of headroom, no problem. The seats are very, very comfortable. You don't feel like you're driving a giant bus. It's very compliant. Yes, you do get the, which we'll go over deeper in the driving section, you do get the body on frame vehicle jitter. All right, let's jump in the back seats, check out the technology back there, and then the third seats, and then we go for a drive. Stay tuned for that. Okay, let's jump into the back seats of the 2025 Lexus LX. Oh, and it will help if I unlock it. Okay, let's do that again. All right, opening the door. Oh, and before we go in, I do like the kind of like copper finish. Super nice, the trim on this particular Overtrail. I don't know if it's standard on all of them or it's just chrome, but this one looks very, very nice. Anyway, opening this door, it doesn't open that wide, but again, you want a family hauler, you get the Lexus TX. This was not for that. Very, very nice open pour wood. Super nice. Integrated sunshades, which I keep saying this in every video. Every car should have this. No matter what trim it is, no matter how cheap it is, every car should have this. It's nice to see that here. Very nice Mark Levinson speaker grille there. Piano back, which not great for fingerprinting and dust, but car makers seem to be in love with it, with that material. And pockets, door pockets, you can put bottles in there. And the seats back here also, of course, semi-aniline leather. Super comfortable, obviously. And you're probably wondering, how do you get into the third seat? You just flip this lever like so, and the seat tumbles like that. And it gives you access to the third row, which we'll go over. Let me move this out of the way. We'll go over in a little bit, but for now, let's just put this guy back down and recline it, and let's get into the back seats. And it is a very, you do have to climb into it because it is a very high vehicle. I am 5'8", so just for context purposes, that's how my driving position. And this is not a penalty box back here. This is very nice. You do get, of course, climate vents all over the roof in every row. They're all here. Speakers everywhere. I have my kiddos booster seat right there, super easy to install. And the seats, of course, as you can see how beefy they are. You do have a pockets behind each one, and in the center you do have 4-zone climate control. Yes, there's a zone for this passenger and a different temperature for that passenger, which is super I think it's nice in a vehicle like this class. Overkill, but also, by the way, you can get into the cool box from back here. You can just press the button and you can open it. Super cool. These seats are both heated and ventilated, and you can full controls to the climate control back here. And underneath this little fancy panel, you have USB-C ports to charge your devices. And then you just press it and it gently closes like that. Headroom, it's not too bad, as you guys can see. 5'8". I have plenty of room. These seats are reclinable. This is, I think, the most. Oh no, you can really recline them. You can really recline them. Very comfortable. But you can, of course, put it like this. It does have the cup holders are here, very softly padded, and there is 2 cup holders right here, so you can put them out of the way. Super, super, super nice. And there is more of that ambient lighting. And let me turn off my light. Yeah, you guys can see the ambient lighting. You can get this in luxury trim, and it will have, of course, different colors, different patterns in the seats. There is an F Sport version of this, but there's a look at what the instrument cluster looks like. Very commanding view. And that's pretty much it in the back seats. All right, let's jump into the third row and then we'll go for a quick drive. Stay tuned for that. All right, let's jump into the third row, and you just put this little lever like so. The seat tilts forward like that. And this is gonna be tricky, but let me see if I can do this with one hand. You can always hold on to this handle here. Get in, close the door, and not a lot of room. I'm gonna see if I can lower this and put the headrest up, and let me put the seat up. And if I leave it like that, which no one will probably sit like this, I have my knees are very high. The seats are reclinable, so you can push this like so, which in the recline position, and you do have a USB-C port, you do have cup holders, you do have a vent right there. And let me just spin the camera around, and this is what it looks like. Not a lot of headroom. This is more reserved for kids and not for adults. And if you do put an adult back here, it's going to be a very tight fit, and it may be for a short trip. So the windows are tiny, but that's okay. Again, this vehicle is a off-road machine, a capable SUV. This is what it looks like all the way in the third row seat. And to get out, you have to press this lever here, and let's see, yep, forward, and then the seats tumble back up again. Let's say if you're riding like this, then you're good. You can just stretch out like so, but no one's gonna do that. But yeah, all right, let's take this Lexus LX for a quick drive and my final thoughts. Stay tuned for that. All right, let's drive the 2025 Lexus LX700h. I know, it's a mouthful. All right, I have the car normal mode. So let's go for a quick spin. And it's kind of funny because I hear the engine and it sounds like if it's a V8, but it's not. I think that was probably done on purpose. And let's just wait here. And this thing is, if you ever driven a full-size SUV, you're going to see how big this thing is. You're gonna feel how big. This is definitely very different than your traditional Lexus RX, NX. It's insane. That mirror cam is excellent because right now I can see perfectly fine. The headrests are up, it doesn't bother you. Super, super cool technology having that feature there. And if you put it in, let's say, comfort mode, then everything is very smooth, very relaxed. You know, the car's gonna do everything it can to keep everything at bay. And I'm going a little slow here because they're under construction. And hopefully I don't get no water splashed on the car, but that's all right. And it's rated for like 5.7 to 60, but I think it's more like 6.4, which is fine for something this big that can get up and go. I mean, you're not buying this for lap races or winning, anybody winning anything, but you do feel like you are the owner of a Fortune 500 company driving this. You got that vibe, and you kind of look down at people because you're so high up. 8.1, it is pretty high, but going up all the way to 10, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy how high this thing can be. And let me try to get into here my usual highway loop after these fine folks decide to speed up a little bit. And one thing that this car has, which is interesting, most cars have a donut, not this. This has an actual fifth wheel with the rim and everything. And if that pressure is low, it's gonna let you know. But let me get in here and just stepping on it. Oh yeah, it definitely feels a lot faster than 6.4. It gets up and go very quickly. No fuzz, no hesitation of any kind. This 10-speed is good. Of course, you could drive it in manual mode. No one's going to do that. You know, no one's going to do that. And, you know, it's a giant people mover, basically. That's what this thing is. It's a people mover. It's a status symbol. You buy this because you want to show off to your friends at the country club, or you just want to treat yourself. Simple as that. You want to treat yourself, and you want to get the baddest version, the baddest Lexus you can get. And yeah, this has been a treat to have this in my home test area. And if you're in the market for a very powerful and very luxurious SUV, and the GX550, you don't settle for that one, you want this one, go ahead, treat yourself. This is $118,000. It pretty much comes one way, fully loaded. There's no real options besides the 2400 watt 25 speaker Mark Levinson setup, and that's pretty much it. That's all you get. And of course, colors. This one being the Overtrail, it does come with the 18-inch wheels, no 21-inch or 20-inchers in here, which is actually fine because it makes the ride more comfortable because you have more tire to cushion the road imperfections. But anyway, this has been my first quick look and review of the 2025 Lexus LX700h. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for liking, for sharing my videos. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all on the next one. Take care and stay safe.